You say love your enemies. When people can't process that at first, how do you take that further? Do you just say they should appreciate them for bringing out the best in you, for testing you, for showing you what's good and bad? How do you get people to?
So when I say love your enemies, what I'm talking about is internally, because every the way we create our entire life is from within. And so it matters what you think. We think that we can have the thought, my boss is such a pain in the ass. He's always, we can have that thought and the boss doesn't know, no one knows. We can have all of those thoughts and we're safe. Not safe, not safe. Law of attraction's got it. And law of attraction will give you circumstances that makes you a pain in the ass. And so we don't want to do it. So love your enemies internally. So then I would say, my daughter just asked me about this actually the other day. And if you have somebody in your life that kind of gets you going, it sort of prickles you, and this is perfect. It's perfect that to sit down and think about all of the things that you're grateful for about that person and your relationship with that person. And you'll be amazed at what you come up with. And just the things that you learn from the relationship with that person. And as you think of each thing, it diffuses and lets go of all the resistance that you're holding around that person. And then everything changes. Because the only reason that we have an abrasive relationship is because we're holding resistance about that person.
Holding resistance about that person.
We're resisting them.
Okay.
No, so the opposite of resistance is welcoming.
Right.
And so we're resisting. Yeah.
They say sometimes that if something bothers you about someone, that's just a reflection of something that bothers you about yourself.
That's true.
That's true too. Okay.
Yeah,
Right. Okay.
that's true, because everything's a mirror. But I was going to jump in that. I was going to go that deep. I
Okay.
was going to go that deep. But when you reach a particular point, then you will see, then you will realize that when somebody does something or something appears, that is something you need to resolve within yourself as well. But that is not a big job. We can kind of think, we have to analyze everything, go back through our life, we've got to erase everything. And no, we don't have to do that. All we have to do is, when we feel a negative feeling and it begins to rise up in us, and it doesn't matter what it's about, because whatever negative feeling we have isn't about what we think it's about. It's risen up because it's inside us. Not because it's only got triggered by something in the world. It was already inside us. And so when it rises up, is not to resist it. It's just to allow it to do its thing and dissolve. And the moment we stop resisting it, it just goes like that, like a puff of smoke. And when we do have negative feelings, they don't feel good, right? So the natural reaction of humans is to resist, to kind of suppress, repress. But the problem with that is it keeps it locked inside of us to, once again, come out, anger to come out again. And with something in the world to trigger the anger, so to release the steam like on a pressure cooker, and we get all angry and we're like, oh, that was my brother-in-law. He really gets me really so angry. Wasn't a brother-in-law at all. It's the anger that you've got suppressed inside of you that needed to come out. So we don't have to kind of analyze our life to pieces. It's just that when a negative emotion arises, that we allow that negative emotion to be here without resisting it. Just allow it without wanting to change it, fix it, do anything about it. And it's kind of like, if you can imagine, when you float on water, when you float on water, you've got to be really kind of relaxed, otherwise you sink. And so when a negative emotion comes, if you kind of relax like you're floating on water, you will be amazed that emotion will just go within seconds. Even the strongest anger will just go in seconds, because if you are not resisting it, there's nothing to hold it here anymore.
Super powerful.
So that is the best thing I've done in my life.
Yeah, so much wisdom there. And if anybody has ever spent any time on social media or even creating things on social media, I have my students a lot of times that are putting things out on social media, and they always ask me about haters and comments, and I always say, look, the comment that's looks like a hater comment has very little to do with you. It has to do with what the person is going through on the day, and you just got an earful of it on your comment feed. But I always try to tell people it's rarely about you, and that's kind of what you're saying there.
I agree. It's not about you at all.
Yeah, it's just
any of those comments on social media. They are not about the person they're being directed toward. They're all about the person who's sending it.
Yeah.
Because when you release, and I can tell you through this with my own experience, when you release, say, disappointment, when you release it fully, you can't feel it anymore. It's not possible to feel any disappointment anymore. Why? Because you don't have it inside you. So nothing in the world is going to trigger disappointment, because there's nothing inside you. All starts within us, all of it. And so it's worth, dissolving some of these emotions, because they're not very pleasant, and life just is incredible then. Once you begin to dissolve emotions, you just have a thought of something you want, and it just manifests like that. It's really fast.
Yeah.
Because there's no resistance.